Hello, everybody. It is Saturday, the 21st of February, and I want to talk about the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Because that's what Jesus said: I am the Alpha and the Omega. The I am is the beginning and the end. It is the cause that creates the effect. And that again was not just true for Jesus. It is true for every consciousness. It creates. Now, let me start again as just at the beginning, because I keep religion thrown at me in the comments. And I want to again make the very clear distinction between religion and spirituality. I am not religious, not anymore. I have not been for a while now. Spirituality, gnosis, means going within. It means looking at yourself. Means seeing your own consciousness, seeing the energies, the vibrations, the forces that are working within yourself, that are you on a different level. So again, when the Gnostics talked about Sophia, that was not a being. They saw themselves. When they saw the aeons in the pleroma, they saw the building blocks of their own consciousness. That is knowledge of self. That is spiritual knowledge of self. That's what they saw. And again, the fall of wisdom, because consciousness, as everything else, is made up of many parts. Every whole is the sum of its parts. So consciousness is not just one block thing. It is made up of many aspects that are interacting with one another. Those are the aeons that are within yourself. The pleroma is within yourself. The kingdom is within you. That's what Jesus said. He was a spiritual teacher, and not a bringer of the knowledge of within. So it was the separation of wisdom from the rest of the pleroma that created the idea of Yaldabaoth, which is false, which is a complete falsehood. It's a delusion. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's fantasy. But it was created through a separation within the being. Yeah? When the being was a few cups short of the full tea set. That's when they came up with the Yaldabaoth. And that was the fall. But that is spirituality. It's knowledge of within. Religion means you're looking without, and then you think that the pleroma is somewhere out there, it's a heaven out there, and Sophia is a being, a separate being out there. That is religion, and that is ignorance. The worship of gods is ignorance. Knowing the kingdom within yourself is knowledge. And Jesus taught the kingdom within. Again, those that follow Jesus, the man, have fallen to the material level. They fell themselves to the material level when they can only see the man. And they follow the man. Jesus himself said, "Follow no man." They are on the level of the material and on the level of religion, which is full on ignorance. That is not knowing. So Jesus, let's shift to Jesus now, because he taught the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning. First of all, I am. I am is consciousness that knows itself, that can say, I am that I am. Again, the ignorant are running around saying, what am I? Where am I coming from? What is this? That is the confusion. That is the ignorance. Whoever can say, I am, is on a level of knowledge, of self, awareness of self, knowledge of the kingdom within. So I am on that level where I know myself, the Alpha, the beginning, and the Omega, the end. I am the source. I am the emanation. I am the cause. I am the effect. What is happening within will manifest without. Again, you are religious, you are looking for the cause somewhere in heaven. Something bad out there that is doing something to you. Something good out there that will come and save you. Religion is ignorance, and it's keeping you from the truth. The truth is within. You are the creator. So, the reason why I think this is so important is because we are going through a shift of consciousness. Consciousness can change. And when it changes, it will create something different, obviously, because you have a different source. We are going through a shift of consciousness, and not for the better. The fact that this world is going around us to hell in a handbasket is the reflection of our shift of consciousness. We are the source of this. Some are more actively involved in this than others. Some actively drive this shift. Others are being swept away by it, or along with it. So there you have the creators and the NPCs. Those that are just looking to the heavens, wondering what the hell is going on, and not seeing the source which is in this world. Now, shift of consciousness. Knowledge of self. And how to become that being that you can be. A conscious creator. That is I am, a conscious creator. Something that knows what it is doing. And not wondering what the hell is going on. They know what is going on because they are creating it. I would say shift in consciousness as far as I can see at the moment. First of all, you must say it is real, it is there, it exists. It exists within me. And then really go looking for it. Find evidence. Find evidence for it in this world. Observe. Yes, I would say observe your thoughts, your emotions. Hear the voices within and see what is happening without. And start seeing patterns. I believe that is how the Hermetics got their knowledge, through scientific observation of themselves and that which is around them. Seeing the sources. But obviously you are not the only source. There are others. But see the spirit within, see the forces within, see what they create. Understand what it is you are and what it is you're doing. And practice. Now, I want to say this, and this is extremely harsh and this is brutal, but I believe it to be a reality. I can see the practice of shifting consciousness in the bad way in this world. Because I was thinking about sacrificing children, which is a practice that is happening in this world, where at the first time you might feel revulsion. There will be plenty of energies inside of you that will speak against if you are a human being. But you can overcome that. Yeah? The first child might be difficult, the second child might be difficult, but you can practice it until it becomes the new normal. I'm sorry that is brutal, but I think that is what happens. Do things over and over again until they become the new normal. But when it has become the new normal, that means your consciousness has shifted. You have created a shift in consciousness from a being that felt and thought one way to a being that thinks and feels a different way. That is a shift in consciousness. And I see a shift in consciousness in this world that I say is going the wrong way. We are being shifted. We are being separated from human consciousness into a different kind of consciousness, and not a better one. Because you can see again, you can see the effect, the outcome, the omega in this world. You can see what it creates. We can stop it by becoming aware of ourselves and by standing in our truth and not being swept along with what is happening here. Human consciousness has to be the resistance. It has to speak its truth. It has to stand in that truth. Again, the religious won't do that because they don't know the truth within. They believe all of this is done by a higher power out there and that they have nothing to do with it. That's what makes them non-player characters. They're just being swept along by what is happening. So spirituality should lead to resistance. The truth should be resistance. And here's the last thing, because I had a comment and I said we are going toward New Jerusalem. Again, many say that is just a metaphor. You know, this is just a depiction of something else. Everything that is solid is a depiction of something else. Everything that is solid does simultaneously exist on many other levels. Again, if you're trapped in the material, it means you don't know the other levels that are existing at the same moment, in the same space. You're solid, there's the mental plane, there's the spiritual plane, there's energy and vibration. They all exist, and they're not separated from each other. They all exist at the same moment, at the same time. Shifting awareness means shifting your awareness to a different part of what you are, already are. You are that. You always have been that. I said the knowledge of that again has been taken away by us being driven into the material knowledge only. That is a trap. But it is not the reality of what we are at the moment. We exist on all the other planes as well. What is keeping us away from that is our own ignorance, which we have been driven into, programmed to be in that state of ignorance. Anyway, back to New Jerusalem. So you can say it is a matter for all, spiritual levels, something that is happening on a spiritual level. Yes, it is. It is that. But it will, and I'm quite sure it will simultaneously be a solid reality. It's not going to be one or the other. You will experience a solid reality that you will have to deal with. You may see the spirit within it, what's driving it, but it will still be a solid reality. And I say we are shifting toward it. I mean, in fact, the kingdom is already here. When you read the book of Revelation, yeah, the servants of the kingdom will pour out plagues. They will create plagues. They will create droughts. They will create famines. The armies will go and slaughter. It's here. It's happening. It's happening all around us. That is already an experienced truth in this world. All of those elements of the kingdom are already happening. It's here. You're still staring out there to look for it coming. It's manifesting all around you. But the reason why it can manifest is because of our shift of consciousness. And our unawareness that we are the creators, or at least co-creators of this. We are the alpha, we are the source, we are the emanation, we are the created. We create it, we can change it. None of this is done to us. We are active parts in it. Now, I had this comment saying, where do I think Jesus is now? Now, again, the book says he is in New Jerusalem. He shifted, he sacrificed his human consciousness and made the shift into the other, which could probably be explained as or spoken of as a dimensional shift onto another wavelength, onto another vibration that we do not know. But the more we come onto the same vibration, onto the same wavelength, that is when we will know them, because our realities will become one. And it will be a solid reality. There's going to be nothing fluttering spiritual about it. When the armies of heaven come to slaughter, that is going to be a solid reality. And those that do the slaughtering will have shifted consciousness. And you will not be able to reason with them like reasoning with a human being, because they are no longer that. They might be still human in the flesh, but they won't be on the level of consciousness. That is what we're going toward. But then to see this coming, and not as something that is happening to us, that is coming from the heavens, from the gods, they're doing it to us. To see it as something that you are a part of, on the level of consciousness. To see your own shift to see what is happening within, to see your own shift and what it creates, or what it is the servant to, and then become the master of your own energies. That is a spiritual master. Somebody who's not swept away, but somebody who can choose the point in which he is standing. Self-determination. Say, I am, and I won't be part of this. Speak up out of your own truth. Don't change. That was the sacrifice of Jesus. He did sacrifice his self, his consciousness. He denied his truth to become part of another. He made that shift in order to reveal the truth of that God, which he did in the book of the Revelation. It's a brutal, slaughtering, narcissistic megalomaniac. That is the truth of God, of the biblical God. Right now, that kingdom is not, or it was not of this world. The kingdom of my Father. And again, he started speaking about he is my Father because he was making the shift. Speak, do, and think as if you're already there. That is the practice that he was doing in order to make the shift. He was already speaking, doing and saying, and as if he was already there, as if the shift had already happened, and in the end the shift did happen. But that was his sacrifice. It was the sacrifice of his own consciousness, which also created the picture of the sacrifice of the flesh, yes, because they are one. The important part was the sacrifice of consciousness, to reveal the truth, to become part of that other dimension, to reveal its truth. And the only way that his sacrifice can save us is by us not going there, by us not denying ourselves, by us not going the way of the cross. He did it, he made the sacrifice so that we don't have to go. Only now we're being taught we should all go there. Follow the cross. That is the way into destruction. Jesus was the Alpha and the Omega the entire time. He was the Alpha, he was the cause, and the effect was the healings, the resurrections, whatever he did. He was the cause. And when the shift into the other dimension occurred, he was also the cause that experienced the effect that the cause itself had created. And we are all that. It was not just him. And that is spirituality. That is spiritual knowledge and what can be done on those levels. And what is done on those levels, even if we do it unconsciously. That is true knowledge of self. And once you have that knowledge, you can work that knowledge. You are a creator. And right now, we need that knowledge. Because we are unconsciously being driven into a shift of consciousness into another dimension. And that dimension is pure hell. And we're being sheep-herded there. And most of us, I say, are still standing here saying, what am I? What am I doing? What is this? This is all being done by some evil god out in the astral zone. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just trapped here. No, you're not. You're consciousness. Start acting like it. Anyway, folks, stop being religious. Please stop being religious. Don't look for the cause out there. Go into Gnosis. Look inside. Anyway, here, folks, I leave it at that for today. I hope this made sense. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.